Welcome back. It's lit, but you know what? Just hold on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother. Don't worry.
Dude, welcome back. It's the same shit every time. It's Lit Book Reviews, the podcast where we discuss all things books related. I'm Future. With me, as always, is Metro Boomin. If you've not heard our new album yet, we just dropped it yesterday, and it's pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie. Young Metro, like that. And today we are actually going to talk about something that's book related, but not a book. Three Body Problem, the Netflix show based on the book, has dropped this weekend, and we just watched the first episode. We're just going to talk about the first episode. This is all spoilers, all things for the book, all that. I'm not doing all that. So if you don't want to know something, just don't watch. Dude, that was awesome. I mean, I literally just finished it 10 minutes ago. First episode was dope. It's obviously like mixing it up a little bit, jumbling the timeline, changing up some characters, but none of it bothered me, bro. Sure. I enjoyed the first episode thoroughly. What'd you think?
I feel like, we obviously we read this, last year? I think we read it last year. And,
just the first book, by the way, for anyone who's read the whole series. We've only read the first book.
I feel like a lot of the biggest twists happen in this episode. I'm like, dude, what's left in the book? To be honest. So I know when we were watching the trailer.
That's so true, dude. The book delivers it way differently.
And I know we haven't even done anything Three Body wise. So I'm sure that's going to be an episode or two. I mean, we kind of did barely, but anyway, I like it so far, even though it's very different as far as, like you said, the delivery with them being in London, and even the main character, one of the main characters is not even the main character, so, or that doesn't even exist, I guess, in this one. So, but
yeah, and you make a good point, dude. Actually, I feel like it's halfway through the book, the first book, that you actually figure out that something extracurricular is going on. Extraterrestrial. I said extracurricular. It's been a long day. Yeah, so that's, the whole first episode kind of does jumble up so much of what happens in the book. The book is kind of a slow burn the first half, I feel like. You really, you're in deep as far as Ye Wenjie's past for a minute, I feel like. Or does it go back and forth? I can't even remember in the book. Does it go back and forth in the timeline?
Maybe it definitely goes back and forth. The first part is definitely all... Well, no, I think it opens up with the main guy who's doing... Which I think is, in this series, is the character's name is Jin Chang. She's the one who's doing the stuff that obviously at the end, I almost spoiled stuff. But anyway, she is a guy, she's a guy in the book, right? We're on track with that.
What?
Her name is
which one?
Jin Chang. She's not in the show. She's a girl, but in the book, it's a guy. It's a guy who's seeing the countdown, and they've meshed that into two characters,
Wang.
right?
That's Wang.
Yeah, and there is no Wang in this show.
Yeah,
I think they're basically spreading Wang across two characters.
Yes, yeah, I've heard that the whatever five, those five people that the Dashi character has on his whiteboard, they're kind of, which one of those is Mike Evans, so I guess it's really just four of them. But I think four of them, because one of them's literal Mike Evans, who is a character in the book.
Dude, and I cannot get over. Just Mike Evans having a huge year this year for the Bucks, dude. And it's just every time
he gets this show opportunity, he's killing it.
Huge
across different industries. It's wild.
But I feel like they did a decent job though of kind of spreading his. Any person who's read a book and they're like, "Oh, dude, it's not exactly the same." You can feel some type of way. But we also haven't read the next book, so I do wonder: is this a nod to some of that? Maybe it's not. If and you've read the books, definitely say something in the comments. Yeah, I think it is too.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember when we did just our trailer review, we were a little lost just on what was going on, and a lot of people in the comments were saying "Oh, you've got to read the second and third book," which we haven't, by the way. If you watch that video and you're watching this one, we've still only read the first book. But so I am curious. Part of me likes the build up and getting all this kind of backstory before things get crazy. But at the same time, especially for a show I kind of like that they're just jumping straight into it. I mean, especially
Yeah.
if you watch at the end of the first episode, there's like a trailer for the rest of the season, and you 100%
that
know
about?
what's going on. Like,
That was
I mean, in
I
comparison to the
like that,
book,
but I
like
feel
you
like it
know
was
what's going
spoiling.
on. Yeah. No, it
It was like,
definitely
all
is, and
right,
it's
y'all are
showing you
showing too
so
much. I literally
much.
stopped it halfway through. I was like, all right, I don't want to see this. Like, I want to see it for
Yeah.
the first time in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, them
But some things
ending
they
the
did really well.
episode. No, keep going. You go.
I was just gonna say, like, they started out the exact same with the revolution in China and
Yeah.
with Ye Wenjie's father getting killed. Which, dude, that scene was brutal. That started out the show. I was like, "Is this Game of Thrones?" That was brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal.
So I like that they started out with that, like just the little stuff that they put in there. That's similar to the book. Just like with her out on like the tree job, like doing her thing, counting the rings, like kind of
Yeah.
establishing this environmental
They kept
theme,
that
like
pretty
very
similar
quickly.
to the book.
Yeah,
Wenji's
they
like
did.
backstory is very, very much
Yeah,
so.
it's very similar to the book.
I am kind of, I mean, I like it so far, but my favorite part, like one of my favorite parts of the book is Wang and Dashi's relationship. And obviously that's like not a thing in this, well, at least so far. So, I mean, it still could be fine, but because it starts off with them like bringing him in to see if he'll kind of be like an undercover agent to join this like group of scientists who, something weird's going on. And so they're trying to get him to infiltrate that group, which then ends up becoming something big. Like, not to spoil anything,
Right.
because who knows if it's even going to be brought up in the show. But I'm curious to see where they work back around to that, because, I mean, it's going to have to be in the next episode, because they're going to have to figure out how the girl who committed suicide, like, how did she get the goggles, because where are people getting those from? But
where are these?
yeah, I mean,
Where is this? And dude, the way they reacted to that, like this, like all these, like this, the girl that finds it at the end of this first episode, like she's a physicist, she's a smart person, she's seen like the cutting edge of technology. She looks at that and doesn't immediately go, "What is this? We don't make this. What is this? Where did this come from?" Like, it's just kind of like, come on, something weird's going on, dude. That looks so out of this world. But what about the? And I know this is something we don't know from the second and third book, but that character that comes up to the girl they're calling Augie, who is like essentially Wang that's seeing the numbers, that's not in the first book, right? There's not an actual character that tells him to shut down his company. I know he gets that, I think, but is there a character? I can't remember.
I feel like
Tell us
there
in the
is.
comments if you
I
remember.
I thought maybe it's like
Or was it a
voice
character?
or something. Or is it a voice in his head? I know for sure he's like, all right, I have to shut this down, but like isn't going to.
Yeah.
But I can't remember how it's delivered to him. Maybe it was a character, because I think there's that inner circle group still. I mean, I don't know. We might be spoiling stuff for the show, because maybe they're just going to bring that in another way. But
I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care.
I don't care. Dude. I will say it was kind of wild that they already literally just basically told you that Wenji, like, they just combined the flashback and then who that character is in real time, like at the end of the first episode, and that was like one of the big.
So much has been revealed.
Halfway through,
so much has been revealed.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're looking for aliens, and like that was the big. I mean, I guess it's on the back of the book, which I remember when we read it, it was like, dude, is that kind of a spoiler? Because it's just so long before that's revealed in the actual book. But anyway, I mean, no, I thought the visually too, I thought they did a great job, especially like with the scenes like in the forest. And I mean, I feel like it's probably a good move to do it in like set in England, like in London, so that they can do more English stuff, like language. Because I like the back. I honestly am a fan of when, like, okay, we're doing stuff and now we're in China and we're reading subtitles. Like, I know some people may be turned off by that, but I like that, because it's like, okay, this feels authentic. I mean,
yeah, I agree, because it kind of like they still have it there with showing the backstory of the Chinese Revolution, but then you're completely taken out of it. So it's like, what significance does that hold?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do prefer. Like, that's the only thing I was saying when, because there's the Chinese version of the show that came out a year or two ago that you can watch on YouTube, and they did a pretty good job. It's obviously a much lower budget than something like Netflix is going to have, but it felt very authentic because it's from the same perspective of the book. Like, it's mostly Chinese characters with a few other nationalities or whatever sprinkled in. So I don't know. But the thing is, dude, we're just so progressive and open-minded and everything. Some people aren't like that. People at big companies like Netflix, they're not as progressive as us. So what do you expect? Really capitalism, man, is crazy. But yeah, I'm trying to think of something else I was about to say. I don't remember.
I don't either, dude.
I like the show so far, though. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, RIP, though, to anyone who's watching the show and they're like, yo, I'm going to go back and read the book, because, I mean, that was an absolute mixtape of the book real quick. I mean, that was 80% of the first book. So, I mean, it's still a good book. Obviously, read it. But anyone who's going in thinking like, I'm just curious to see where the rest of this goes. So I'm definitely hooked. And I feel like most people are too. Like, I would assume even if you haven't read the book, like that was a good first episode for like any show. Yeah, I would think so.
I would think so. I do wonder if it's a little like if there's some stuff that's not where dots are not being connected, but even if there is, I'm sure they'll be connected shortly.
Well, yeah, they kind of started off hard science for a bit, but then they, they reel you in quickly, I think. So
yeah. Well, we're going to keep watching. If you've enjoyed the show, regardless of what point you're at, go ahead and leave a comment. Spoil the whole show for anyone who hasn't seen it in the comments if you want. Nobody cares.
Oh, for sure.
But
and subscribe, too. If you like books.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no one really watches our videos, so if you want to really be in a select group of elite individuals, you will, trust me, you will be known and seen.
We're solving the world's problems over here, so don't miss out. See you on the next one. Peace.